Shalom. Let's start out by giving praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth in all faith, truth, and sincerity. I'm Awanabad back again in the city. This one going to about about the U.S. economy. This economy, is not looking good. Going forward. The inflation and cost of everything, is rising, and a lot of people, are feeling it. Feeling the pressure. And are people are getting upset about the high prices of food and gas. The cost of living is going up. So the housing, rent, all that. So it's only gonna get worse. And this could be the sign of right now going forward that the crash of all crashes could come about. Once the stock market crash. This economy, the dollar, completely just crash. Ain't no point on no return. What's gonna come about is the problem to the solution gonna be the new way of buying and selling is gonna be taking that Marco C Hill, which is the mark of the beast. So I'm gonna play this video found on TikTok, and those two videos is one of them about the economic fall of the U.S. It says this video says even Fox News can't hide the economic fall of the U.S. The U.S. dollar crisis. The nail in the coffin was the big beautiful bill. Okay, I'll just play the video.
Gold and silver are warning about a bigger crisis that's going to hit either later this year or maybe next year. We are headed for a U.S. dollar crisis. Yeah, well, the dollar is weaker across the board. And this is a vote of no confidence in the U.S. economy, in the U.S. government's ability to manage its finances. The nail in the coffin was the big, beautiful bill. Because before Trump was elected, there was actually some hope that the U.S. might actually, get a handle on spending and cut government spending. You had Elon Musk coming in with Doge, but unfortunately they ran him out of town because there's no stomach, even in the Republican Party, for cutting government spending. So the deficits are running out of control even more now than they were before. And now you have Trump antagonizing the world with tariffs that aren't really on the world. The tariffs are on Americans. Americans pay the tariffs, but it makes foreign goods more expensive for American consumers. And so foreign companies don't do as much business in the United States.
When is it going to end? We need somebody to come in and get a hold of this economy ASAP, or we're cooked.
So that's the first video. These tariffs, that Trump is putting on these foreign goods. Americans got to pay more. What it is. And a lot of like I said, a lot of people here in America, Babylon the Great. People are just are getting upset about how high everything is. But like I said, them tariffs, man. Inflation, of products and goods, man, because of Trump, but it's all prophesied, to bring it, for this, for this economy to this financial system to collapse, and then bring in a new way of buying and selling, which is gonna be, like I said, not too long ago, the Marco C Hip, which is the mark of the beast. It's all, it's gonna lead up to the Marco C Hip, the mark of the beast, being made mandatory for people to buy and sell. That's gonna be the problem to that's gonna be the not the problem to solution, excuse me. That's gonna be the the answer to the problem. To what people to what's gonna be the way of buying and selling. To function in this world and this society, is that you gotta have that Marco C Hip to buy and sell. And like I say, you had those, you have these different, it's like, you have these different, it's like council, out there saying, the mark of the beast is this and that, the mark of the beast is your cell phone, the internet, or whatever, right? Or telling you some other, whatever, maybe BS or whatever, about the Marco C. Hip, the Marco C. Hip, the RFID chip not being the mark of the beast. They're telling you there's something else. The men of the Lord, great millstone, the apostles, and the elders, brother, and the brother, great millstone. I'm telling you, in the spirit of Lord Yahushua, because Lord Yahushua is dealing with me in great millstone, that the Marco C. Hip, the RFID chip, is the mark of the beast. That's gonna be the new way of, you're gonna have to, you're gonna have that in your right hand forehead to buy and sell. But okay, I'm gonna go to another video.
There are some economists who suggest that because Mr. Trump ties his success to the success of the market, that he's not going to let anything like what happened in 1929 happen, and that we should feel secure because of that.
I think it's hard to know how things get out of control.
Pause real quick. So 1929, that was the stock market crash in 1929 that led to the Great Depression, right? And I say history repeat itself, that was the first one, that happened in 1929. But don't play the rest of the video.
When confidence disappears, it happens like this.
So you spent nearly 10 years on this book. The inevitable question is, do you think that we will have a crash or not?
The answer is we will have a crash. I just can't tell you when, and I can't tell you how deep. But I can assure you, unfortunately, I wish I wasn't saying this, we will have a crash.
So that guy right there, he been working on the book, 1929, But yeah, he's saying, he said a crash is coming out of his mouth. You know what I'm saying? He sees it. He sees the, warning signs of the, excuse me. He sees the warning signs of this economy, where it's heading to. It ain't going. It's not heading to. This is just a temporary, high price hike of goods and this and that. If they return back to normal, no, it's going downhill. There's no point of return of things getting back to normalcy. Prices of goods going back down, or gas going back down. It's going to keep going up, and people going to start people here in America, Babylon the Great, going to start going crazy, right? Rioting, whatever it may be, just losing it, right? And we're gonna have people out here robbing, stealing, killing to survive. That's what's coming. But so I'm gonna go from there. I'm gonna get the scriptures. I'm gonna get the scripture to back this up. This is Zephaniah 1:10. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate. So that should be a noise of a cry from the fish gate. You go to a fish gate. They go to the stock market. Marketplace. So the stock market, right? Fish gate right there. Go to the stock market. So there shall be a howling noise from the fish, the cry from the fish gate. So you had the first stock market crash in 1929 that happened. The Great Depression, right? That was the first one. Reading on, and a howling from the second. So the second one happened in 2008. So I'm going to get that real quick. So 2008 stock market crash was the steepest market plunge since the Great Depression, wiping out nearly half of households' equity and triggering the global recession, the global Great Recession. It was primarily caused by collapse of the U.S. housing bubble, subprime lending, predatory subprime lending, and excuse me, I'm saying that wrong. The subsequent failure of major financial institutions in Lehman Brothers, like the Lehman Brothers. So, so the housing bubble right there, 2008, the housing situation bubble crash happened right there. That was in 2008. So reading on, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. So there's gonna be a great crashing from the hills. A great stock market crash is coming to America this time around. So this one that's gonna happen is gonna be the crash of all crashes, right? Like I said, it's not gonna be no point or return of this financial system. The dollar gonna be done away with. Like I said, it's gonna be useless. And I say what's gonna come about is, like I said, that the micro CHIP is gonna be what's gonna come. The micro CHIP, the micro CHIP RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, is gonna be the way that you gotta what you're gonna have to get to buy and sell. You're gonna have to have it in your right hand, your forehead. Revelation 13:16 on down. So you're gonna have to have that Marcos Hill to buy and sell, because that's what's coming. That's what's coming, man. Once this completed, this system, right, this financial system collapse, this economy collapse, that's what's coming. But I'm gonna go from there. Next verse, Zephaniah 1:11. How you inhabitants of Mektesh, for the merchant people are cut down. All day that bear silver are cut off. So how you inhabit of Mektesh? Mektesh, it's a place of trade. It's a place of trade. And like say, and like say here in America, Babylon the Great, you got the stock market, right? Stock market, Wall Street, it's a place of trade, right? So it's gonna come a point where Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna cut that down. It's gonna be cut, gonna cut off. It's gonna cut, the people, the Wall Street, gonna be ain't gonna be no more trading. It's gonna crash. It's gonna come crashing down, man. So Lord Yahweh Shai, he's finna bring, his great judgment down, his great judgment upon this place, America, Babylon the Great. And when those times going forward, it's gonna come about. That stock market crash. Like I said, the crash of all crashes could happen before the fall, either before the fall of this year, or right there. Between September and October. So I know so this summer going into the fall is gonna be very interesting times. But like I say, I'm just gonna say, me myself first and foremost, and those that believe in Lord Yahweh Bashan Shai, that Lord Yahweh Shai, have mercy, man, and I say, because Lord Shai, if you're of the elect, hopefully not on the elect number, if you're of the elect number of the so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are Israelites, Lord Yahweh is gonna look after. He's gonna look after his elect. He's gonna make sure the elect are taken care of. In these times going forward, man. So with that, I didn't want to make this too long. Hope this was edifying. So again, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash, to the apostle elders, to the Sisakim brothers, to the few Akwaf sisters that do listen, keep the faith, and Yahushua keep fighting with that. Say shalom.